What are the different kinds of tourism? The first and most profitable kind of tourism is the international tourism. When we talk about international tourism, it can be categorized into two things, that is inbound and outbound. Inbound international tourism is one such tourism wherein people or tourists of the other countries come into our country. For example, French tourists coming into our country, they are inbound international tourists. Now, international, we all know it is between two different countries. International, between two, exchange of people, exchange of tourists between two different countries. So when from my context, if we take India as the destination country, when French tourists come into our country, they are inbound tourists. When an Indian tourist goes to another country, for example, goes to Singapore, goes to Thailand, goes to Europe, then that person is an outbound tourist, outbound international tourist. Now, here again, economically, a country always tries to promote inbound international tourism, because it is through the inbound international tourism a country gains, a developing nation like our country, we largely are benefited by the incoming foreign exchange. So a country like ours, always encourages more and more international inbound tourism. It is not that people are not going abroad. They are going abroad, but in that terms, we are losing money. Leakages are happening. Our money is going to other country. Okay, so in international tourism, it is the inbound international tourism which is stressed upon. But again, we have to remember that in order to encourage more and more inbound tourism into our country, we have to provide them a congenial environment. It is not only the natural environment we are talking about, it is the total environment, be it the security, be it the facilities, be it the warmth of the people, everything is included there. We'll come to it later on in the later parts of the unit. How would we do that? Okay. Next, most important in our country is national tourism, which is very much in vogue in our country. Okay. Now, national tourism is wherein people from other countries or other parts of the country, they are coming into our place. Okay, within the boundaries of the nation. For example, people from South India visiting West Bengal. Okay, so that is also called domestic tourism, where people of other nationals, also nearby countries, for example, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, okay, they are international destination, but then, okay, so that is domestic tourism. Okay, domestic means within the boundary of the nation. And outbound is when you are leaving your country for a outbound national country, outbound nation. So that comes under national tourism. Domestic is within the boundaries of the country when you are visiting. Okay. Now the third is the internal tourism. Internal tourism is kind of tourism wherein, it's inside the state. For example, we visiting Shantiniketan. Okay, so that is internal tourism, inside the state or interstate. From one state to another state, that is again, we can call it domestic. And inbound is we visiting Digha, we visiting Puri and Bhubaneswar beach. We visiting Jammu and Kashmir. That is again, that comes under international tourism, and that is what we call inbound tourism. So this is what is, we would classify tourism into basically 3 parts: international, national and internal tourism. Now, typology of tourists. With different types of tourism coming into being, there are different types of tourists. Okay, for example, you know, when you would see this, or when you would study or see or read your study mat, you know, there are different kinds of people in this whole world who have a different mindset. For example, let's see, why would you like to visit a place? There are people who are, you know, very much, they wouldn't like to stay at home at all. Okay, and they don't need the luxury also of traveling. They just need a backpack, and probably they don't know where to go, and they just move on. Okay, now there are some tourists who would make a full program of the holidays. Then they would chalk out the destinations that they would visit. They would book all the luxurious hotels and resorts that are there. So they would go for a foolproof, foolproof itinerary of a destination. So there are different kinds of tourists that would, when we talk about tourists. Now, why are we talking about typology of tourists? Typology of tourists are so very important because it decides what kind of destination they would like to visit. Right? Because there are tourists who would like to visit, let's say, adventure, who love adventure, they would like to visit adventure destinations. There are tourists who love beaches, they would like to visit the beaches. There are tourists who would like to visit a cool, no hassle-free destination because they have a very hectic schedule, and that is what they want is, you know, wherever I go, I would like to relax. No laptops, no cell phones, just relaxation. So, there are different destinations. When we market a destination, we have to take care what type of tourists would be coming to my destination. That is a very, very important thing, and for that, we must understand different typologies of tourists. So, first is the interactive tourist typology, that they stress upon the interaction between tourists, their destination and their environment. Now, there are tourists who love interacting with the common man. Okay, they wouldn't like to visit a place which is aloof, isolated, probably, you know, there is least interaction between the local people. So, this is one kind of tourist which likes the hustle and bustle of the city life or the destination. The burning example that we would give here in West Bengal is the example of Digha. We all know that Digha is a beach resort or a beach destination, and it's a very, very popular destination. Now, in order to, in order to minimize the pressure on the old Digha area, new Digha has been extended. Many hotels, many resorts have come up. But there are people, believe me, there are people who would like to get their bookings in the old Digha region only. Why? Because that old Digha area is congested. There are lots of shopping places down there. There are lots of local communities who come down, you know, with their handicrafts and all those stuff. So these are the kind of tourists who are called interactive tourists, who would not like to get their bookings in the new Digha area, which is contemporarily, as compared to old Digha, a bit, you know, a bit peaceful, a bit aloof from the main city center or the main destination area. Okay, so these are the kind of interactive tourists. Now the next one is the cognitive normative typologies. They consider more psychological elements attached to the tourists themselves. They are more, you know, psychologically they are much more active. They do not seek, lot of attention. They do not seek lot of hustle bustle things, but psychologically they are a very good tourists. Okay, they did not need marketplace, but then they are tourists at heart. Now there are different kinds of people that have come up with different typologies. So Gray was one of the Gray's typology, as we call it, if we go by the theory, that Gray had come up with two kinds of typologies based on the type of travel undertaken. The first one is the sunlust and the second one was the wanderlust. Now sunlust are those tourists who travel to familiar destinations having well developed infrastructure and amenities. They are those tourists, as we discussed earlier, probably the definitions of the different typologies of the tourists are same, but with a different name. Each learned person, each researchers, they have come up with their own nomenclature, but the definitions are all the same. The same, the sunlust people are same as the interactive tourist typologies. Okay, the sunlust are those tourists who travel to familiar destination. They do not seek unfamiliar, untouched destination or virgin destination. Okay, and they would seek a destination which is well developed in context of infrastructure and amenities. Wanderlust. These tourists desire to visit new destinations, discover different place and culture. They are like cognitive, normative typologies who are typical tourists by heart. They would require just a backpack, they wouldn't require any luxury, and they just have the desire to visit new destinations, discover different places and encounter their cultures. These wanderlust kind of people, they would even stay at hosts' houses in order to understand their culture, in order to understand their traditions. So they are wanderlust people. One of the best known and most widely used tourist typologies is formulated by Cohen, another researcher in this tourism field. Cohen in 1972, and it says, again, different typologies, organized mass tourist. From the very name itself, we understand that it is an all-inclusive, fully packaged tour. These are the tourists who would go for, a huge number of people visiting a particular destination, and this destination, what quality does this destination has? This destination has everything, all the amenities for a package tour. Then we have the individual mass tourist. They use the scheduled flights, centralized bookings, transfers, visiting perhaps the same sites as mass tourists. But when we talk about what is the basic difference between organized mass tourists and individual mass tourists, the basic difference is the organized mass tourists are a bit budget tourists. Individual mass tourists, on the contrary, are not budget tourists. Explorers, the very key phrase, from the key phrase itself, we understand they are the offbeat travelers. They always tend to go offbeat. Probably they would follow a track wherein normal tourists would not visit. Or simply, they wouldn't choose a destination from the brochure that is being sold. They would rather search the internet. They would try to visit a place where hardly people go. Then there are the drifters. This type of the tourists will seek novelty at all costs, even discomfort and danger. Spending patterns tend to benefit immediate local rather than large companies. Now, drifters are a degree higher than explorers. They would like to visit a place even if it is dangerous. Even if they had to spend a night in a railway station, on a platform. They wouldn't mind even going to the level of discomfort, and they would make sure that if they spend the money goes immediately to the local community. They would rather do the shopping directly from the local handicraft market. So likewise, we come along, we understand that different typologies are very important in order to understand what kind of tourist destination we are going to market to the world market. Because if we don't understand the typologies, we wouldn't understand which destinations are to be marketed to which kind of tourists. Equally famous is Plogges, another great researcher in 1973. On a specific scale, using the trait personality theory, tourists can be classified again on the basis of their travel behavior. So, according to Plogges in 1973, he again, according to his trait personality theory, he divided tourists into three parts: psychocentrics, allocentrics, and midcentrics. Now, psychocentrics are those tourists who, they are also called self-centered tourists, who prefer familiar and risk-adverse experiences. They are those tourists who prefer familiar and risk-adverse experiences, that is, they seek the novelty. They wouldn't like to visit a place which is, full of risks, which is unfamiliar. Rather, they would go to a place, exploit a place. They wouldn't mind spending money, nothing, but then they are a kind of self-centered tourists. They visit a place just for their self-satisfaction. Next is allocentric tourists. Allocentric tourists, they enjoy exposing themselves to other cultures and new experiences and are willing to take risk in this process. They are those kind of tourists who enjoy exposing themselves to the other cultures, to know about different cultures, new experiences. They would like to gather new experiences and are willing to take the risk in this process. Kind of explorers that we had discussed earlier. Midcentrics, an average, the midcentrics are, they are an average whose personality type is a compromise between allocentrics and psychocentrics. They have their own comfort zone which they wouldn't like to cross over, and of course they wouldn't like to take that much risk. But yes, if there are like-minded kind of people with them, they would of course like to cross that line. Okay, so they are mid-centric kind of people. So with these different typologies, as I had mentioned earlier, that probably all the researchers, they have come up with their own nomenclatures, but the meaning of the nomenclatures are all the same. They mean all the same. So, an in-depth analysis of the typology of tourists is very necessary to understand what kind of destination is for what kind of tourists. A tourist, from the marketing point of view, when, let's say, we are setting up a travel agency, we wouldn't sell all kinds of destination to all kinds of tourists. Rather, we would like to tap the right kind of tourist for the right kind of destination, so that a sense of satisfaction is there in the mind of tourism. And if there is satisfaction, then more tourists will visit that place. With more tourists visiting the place, more economic upliftment is there, more cultural upliftment is there, more environmental upliftment is there. So it's all intertwined, you see. It's all intertwined.